planned installation of air-field lighting instrument landing system in Lagos, Abuja, Katsina, and Port airports in the sum of 14 billion 36 million naira.
Interior Minister Rauf Aregbesola on his part described as welcoming the approval for the enactment of the Federal Fire and Rescue Service Establishment Act 2022.
We expect that the law, when eventually passed and approved by the National Assembly, will help in improving the capability and capacity of the Federal Fire Service professionally and in capacity development.
As the minister explained, if the law becomes operational, the 60-year-old Federal Fire Service Act will be repealed, while currency as well as professionalism injected into the operations of the Federal Fire Service. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State has expressed absolute confidence in the ability of the APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to pass the litmus test provided by the choice of a running mate and win the 2023 elections overwhelmingly. Speaking to journalists after an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari, the governor described APC as the party to beat when Nigerians return to the polls next year. State House correspondent Adam Samboying reports.
Governor Yahaya Bello, who was an aspirant in the just concluded special convention and presidential primary election of the APC, was in the State House to express formal appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for the fatherly role he played during the exercise.
I am 100% loyal to him and to the party. And Mr. President was pleased. He appreciated me and encouraged me to continue to pursue what will make this country great.
The governor used the opportunity to ask his supporters nationwide, especially women, youth, and the physically challenged, to keep faith with the governing APC, remain committed to his ideals, and massively support Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu towards ensuring his victory at the polls.
Please let us support our party, the All Progressives Congress. We are all winners. APC must win for our dream, for our hope to be alive.
On the choice of running mate for the standard bearer of the governing party, Governor Bello expressed the belief that Asiwaju Bola Tinubu knows exactly what to do.
Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu is an astute politician. He understands the game well, and he knows how to win the contests, especially at this level. Whether a Muslim or a Christian, we're all Nigerians. It is long I have been advocating that we should de-emphasize on our fault lines. That which divides us, let us rather dwell on what unites us more. Merit is very key. I've always been an advocate for merit. We need those who will be able to solve all of these challenges that are confronting us today in Nigeria.
Political parties have up to Friday, the 17th of this month, to submit the names of their candidates and running mates to INEC for the 2023 elections. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The credibility of Ekiti state governorship election will not be undermined if the 16 participating political parties and their candidates are committed to peaceful election. The chairman, National Peace Committee, General Abdul Salami Abubakar, gave the indication at the signing of the peace accord in Ado Ekiti ahead of Saturday's governorship election. Olubukola Aguwo reports.
The National Peace Committee, headed by former head of state General Abdul Salami Abubakar, is in Ekiti State to ensure a violence-free governorship election in the state come June 18th. The committee appealed to the political gladiators not to see the signing of the peace accord as a ritual, but allow its principles guide them through the election.
You are enjoying the possibility of strengthening this accord, but I hope both sides appreciate the way the consequences of their mission.
The electoral umpire INEC reiterated its commitment to transparent and credible election while appealing to the political actors to abide by the rules of the peace accord and impress it on their supporters to maintain the existing peace in the state.
This will be our non-election commitment to the accord and administration of the National Peace Committee.
There's no substitute for peace. We want to govern our people, and for developments to come into a state, there must be a peaceful environment.
We just pray that there will be peace in the state and that this election will be free, fair, and credible.
I told our people, don't initiate trouble, because if you initiate trouble, we will not be behind you.
The National Peace Committee is also calling on the people of Ekiti State to shun all forms of political violence before, during, and after the governorship election in the state. In Ekiti, Olubukola Adumo, NTA News.
As the search for a running mate for the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate continues, as stakeholders say efforts should be geared towards choosing a formidable team that will sustain the current gains and secure the future. Salihu Gwanara reports.
As stakeholders increase strategy, so also are opinions increasing from different APC support groups on who flies the party's ticket with APC's presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu. At this forum with the APC National Progressives Hub, former governor of Nasarawa State, Umar Tanko Almakura says the successful conduct of party primaries is a wake-up call for members to revive their progressive strategies towards securing the party's victory.
That we are all on the same page, even before now, angling, praying, and soliciting support for the emergence of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to emerge as our leader and presidential candidate of APC. Now the work has begun, and it has come to the right people who will do the right job.
There might be balance in terms of our geopolitical zone, in terms of north-south, but we need competent people who are willing to act as one team when they get into office to move Nigeria forward.
We know that at the end of the day, they will come up with somebody who will be able to give the presidential candidate the right backing and for the benefit of the country.
On their part, Northern Intertribal and Interreligion Alliance for Peace, Unity and Development is advocating even allocation of leadership positions.
There are some homes in the northern part of Nigeria that you will see Christians, you will also see Muslims. They are living together in the same house and there is no problem. But however, we are appealing to them that they should consider a northern origin of Christian background as vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to partner with the single Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu to champion peace and unity, transformation and love in Nigeria.
The groups have shown commitment to be part of the agenda for progressive change. In Abuja, Salihu Gwanara, NTA News.
Pursuant to Part 6, Paragraph 14 of the Electoral Guidelines of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), the National Working Committee has approved the nomination of 12 party members to serve on the Vice Presidential Candidate Screening Committee for the screening and verification of nominated Vice Presidential Candidate of the party for the 2023 general elections. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Olugunagba, in a statement, says Tom Ikimi is chairman of the committee. Other members include former governor of Kogi State, Idris Wada, and former Minister of Aviation, Osita Chidoka. Dr. Akilu Ndabawa is to serve as secretary, while Mr. Sunday Omobo is the administrative secretary. The screening exercise holds at the National Secretariat of the PDP on Thursday, June 16, 2022. visit to Kano, where First Republic politician and elder statesman from Kano State, Alhaji Tanko Yakase, has described the emergence of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as presidential candidate of the ruling All Progressives Congress as good omen for Nigeria's unity and political stability. The elder statesman was speaking to NTA in Kano on the nation's political development. Mohammed Ali reports.
The endorsement of the candidature of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu by the First Republic politician Tanko Yakase is based on his conviction of fairness and long-standing clamor for the national presidency. As proponent of power shifts, Alhaji Tanko Yakase describes the position of northern governors of the All Progressives Congress for conceding the presidency to South as patriotic.
Tinubu is the second person that, if he is elected president, that will be elected by people on the understanding of zoning and rotation.
He expressed optimism about the APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu possess what it takes to lead the country.
He had the capacity to provide solution to many of our problems and provide the foundation for future governments to come and develop or continue. And I made up my mind that if Tinubu will contest presidential election, I will support him.
The elder statesman urged politicians to base their electioneering campaigns on issues by avoiding character assassination and consider elections not a do or die affair. From Kano, Muhammad Ali, NTA News.
In the meantime, the House of Representatives is asking the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to extend by 60 days its June 30 deadline to the continuous voters registration exercise. The suspension, if effected, may disenfranchise millions of Nigerians. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the House adopted the resolution sequel to a motion from Representative Benjamin Kalu.
The motion elicited debate among lawmakers as they highlighted the consequence should INEC go ahead with the planned suspension of CVR.
INEC declared that about 42% of the voters' registration recorded since the commencement of continuous voters' registration on 28 June 2021 were invalid, with about 20 million unclaimed permanent voters' cards.
INEC should provide more machines because what they have now, one per local government, is not just enough.
There is no terminal date for you to get your driver's license. There is no terminal date for you to get your international passport. INEC should be able to explain to us, since permanent voter's card is not a card reader is going to read for somebody to vote, what challenges, what impediment, what reasons do they have to say that by 30th of June there should not be further registration?
In the absence of any extension by INEC, that we urge INEC to extend.
The House resolved to engage the Commission on the matter. The amended Electoral Act provides that registration of voters shall stop not later than 90 days before any election covered by the Act. The motion from Ibrahim Makamu Miso urging authorities to effect flood and erosion control measures to curb devastation to lives and property in Miso and Dambong of Bauchi State was adopted.
The cultural heritage of the annual fishing festival, which is already negatively affected by the annual flooding and erosion, may be lost completely if the situation is not addressed.
House members also supported the call from the Deputy Minority Leader Tobi Okechukwu on the need to investigate unending fire at the site of Caritas University in Amojiniki, Enugu State.
The fire, which has claimed one life, reportedly started on Tuesday, May 24, 2022, after borehole drillers engaged by university struck a gas belt after about 1,242 feet below the earth.
Three bills were read the third time and passed, including the bill to establish Admiralty University of Nigeria, which made provisions for advancement of knowledge on military hardware and software. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Senate is working to usher in a new regime for education financing in Nigeria. This it hopes to achieve through the repeal of the Nigerian Education Bank Act. The scheme, when established, is to provide free interest loans and grants to students. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo has that.
The United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, reports that 18.5 million Nigerian children are out of school. Very worrisome. Education financing has been a hard nut to crack for some families, with options of loan as possible remedy. But unfortunately, the huge interest rate attached to the loans becomes the biggest hurdle. The bill by Senator Sadiq Umar to establish the National Students Financial Aid Scheme has passed second reading and appears to be the light at the end of the tunnel.
Granting our interest-free loans and bursaries to eligible students at higher institutions.
There's no nation that is developed that does not have financial education scheme. For us to plan education in such a way that students offer courses with potential for them to be able to get jobs, so that when this scheme comes on board, it will be possible for such students to be able to pay.
Second reading taken, and the bill is referred to the Committee on Tertiary Education and Third Fund for further legislative action to report by within 4 weeks.
The Federal University of Education Technical Bichi Kano State Establishment Bill, sponsored by Senator Jibrin Barau, also passed second reading as Senate resolved to investigate admission of inmates and operations of both-style facilities across Nigeria. As moved by Senator Oluremi Tinubu, the legislators, through a motion by Senator Ajayi Borough, urged security agencies to intensify efforts at bringing the perpetrators of our thought killings
to develop and offer academic, technical and professional programs leading to the award of certificates, first degrees, postgraduate research, diploma and higher degrees.
Senate is conscious and determined to ensure the protection of every Nigerian, particularly minors and other vulnerable persons.
Commiserate with the families of the victims, the Catholic Church, and the people of the government of Ondo State.
Urge for collaboration amongst the various security agencies on intelligence gathering and sharing in very discreet and organized form at local government levels, state government levels, and nationwide.
Senate also condemned the attacks on Benue South communities and called on federal government to strengthen security in the area and provide relief materials to victims, as moved by Senator Abba Moro. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
For 75 days, persistent prayers and keeping hope alive for the safe rescue of Amina Jibril, a mother of 3, were not in vain. She has regained freedom from her kidnappers. Haruna Mohammed brings us the story of one of the Abuja Kaduna train attack victims released and united with her family.
Coming to this house for me is with the purpose of having a one-on-one discussion with Amina Jibrin, one of the released victims of the Abuja Kaduna train attack. But unfortunately for me,
She's not in the right frame of mind. Amina is among 11 lucky captives who regained freedom this week. Efforts to dig into the world of Amina after regaining her freedom is fruitless, as she looks traumatized and speechless because she is still not a happy wife, as she left her husband in the den of kidnapping. However, joy knows no bound among family members, friends and well-wishers who besieged family residents of Amina Jibril to sympathize and rejoice with her for regaining her freedom.
We are happy. At least we were able to get some information on the condition of the remaining 50, including my brother, and at the same time she is back. She's with her children. You know, that is the main pillar. She's the pillar of the house.
I've been in
a very bad mood for almost 3 months now, especially with our old parents that are alive. I think you've seen our dad of 90-something years, so it was not easy coping with it and the small children they left behind.
Amina is now back home, but prayers on her lips is that of freedom of her husband and others who are still in captivity. Haruna Muhammad, NTA News.
Military authorities have stepped up training for junior officers on counter-terrorism and counterinsurgency as a strategic roadmap to ending insecurity in the country. Involvement of junior cadre officers in the training code named Exercise Obiakosin is one of the platforms provided by the military to update the skills of participants in dealing with the sophistication of criminal elements. Marajingi has that.
Deployment of modern military hardware and practical training of military firepower is key to the week-long exercise. The exercise is several trainings embarked upon by the military to adopt various approaches in degrading all forms of insurgency and terrorism. The training is put together by the Nigerian Armed Forces Command and Staff College Jaji to enhance the performance of the participants in the front line.
This is aimed at ensuring that the students are adequately prepared towards taking care of counter-insurgency activities in the field.
This training program will no doubt help in providing much needed skills among these junior officers in confronting emerging security threats. In Kaduna, Umarajingi, NTA News.
In another story, the Federal Road Safety Corps has commended the bravery, courage and professionalism of Mr. Otairo Ejiro, the tanker driver who showed heroism by averting what would have been a major catastrophe on the road. The Tanker Drivers Act has prompted the Corps Marshal, Dr. Bobo Oriomi, to bestow upon him an award for rare exhibition of bravery. The award shall be given to him at a date to be announced soon. According to PC Kazim, the Corps Public Education Officer, the Corps Marshal who received the report of the incident which occurred in Agbao community of East-West Road in Ogili, North Local Government Area of Delta State on Friday, described the heroic act as patriotic and sacrificial. He said that the commendation is done to reaffirm that the Corps does not only punish drivers when they contravene the law, but also commend them when they display professionalism in driving. He called on other drivers who convey inflammable products to emulate Mr. Ejiro's courage and professionalism. Now, how are you coping with the epileptic power supply in your area? Curious to know if there is respite in sight? Well, find out when News 60 returns as the uses of good old wind as renewable energy comes in focus. In just a moment, please stay.
The federal government wishes to inform intending pilgrims to Saudi Arabia that the Saudi government would conduct random blood tests to verify COVID-19 vaccination status of all pilgrims. If you are a prospective pilgrim and unvaccinated or due for your second or booster dose, hurry now to the nearest vaccination site to get vaccinated against COVID-19. In Saudi Arabia, pilgrims may be randomly chosen for antigen tests to confirm their vaccination status. Avoid embarrassment. Ensure that you are fully vaccinated. Please verify your vaccination records by visiting www.vaccination.gov.ng/verification guide at least 48 hours before your departure date. For any inquiry, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng or call 0700-220-1122. That is 0700-220-1122. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
The Tido Yedato Alumni Association of General Murtala Muhammad College, GMMC Yola, cordially invite the general public to its centenary celebration. The event will hold from the 14th to 18th of June 2022, with the grand finale on Saturday, the 18th of June, by 10 o'clock in the morning at the General Murtala Muhammad College, GMMC Yola. Tido Yedato, 100 years of educational excellence. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
The Central Bank of Nigeria and the Bankers Committee announced the hosting of the maiden summit on non-oil exports under the Race to $200 billion in foreign exchange repatriation (RT200) program, with the theme setting the roadmap towards achieving RT200 and non-oil export for development. Date for the one-day summit is Thursday, June 16, 2022. Venue, Ekiti Hotels and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos. Chief host is the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, while the summit host is the Governor, Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele. Guests are expected to be seated at 8:30 a.m. prompt. Attendance is strictly by invitation. This message is announced by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN.
The Honorable Minister of Works and Housing, His Excellency Babatunde Raji Fashola, SAN, and the Honorable Minister of State for Works and Housing, Muazu Jaji Sambo, cordially invite chairmen and members of the National Assembly Committee on Works, Federal Executive Council members, state governors, traditional rulers, and other stakeholders to the commissioning and handing over of Efon Alaye Erimo Iwaraja Road in Ekiti and Osun states. The commissioning of the highway project will be performed by His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari GCFR, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Host, Executive Governor of Ekiti State, Dr. John Kayode Fayemi, CON. Date, Thursday, June 16, 2022. Venue, Efon Alaye in the Efon Alaye Local Government Area, Ekiti State. Time, 11 a.m. All invited guests are expected to be seated by 10 a.m. Please note that COVID-19 protocols must be adhered to by all invited guests. And I'm sir, Bashir Nura Al-Ghali, Permanent Secretary.
A mother's instincts are hardly ever wrong. She knows when all is not well, and she trusts M&B Paracetamol, the red one, to save the day. With fast-acting and effective M&B Paracetamol tablet, the red one, and its pleasant-tasting pineapple flavor syrup, she sends aches and pains far away from her family. M&B Paracetamol. Pain can't stop you. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor.
God, everybody knows say I be real person. Even for my acting, na original. As far as they see me so, I know they joke with anything where they bring rich flavor, real nutrition, and great taste. Like my Checkers custard made 3-in-1 with Totorica, Banga, and rich custard.
Checkers. Custard be that.
Staying healthy is about how you live, when and what you eat, and the things you do with your body. I ensure my family live healthy, eat healthy, and engage in healthy activities. There's this fantastic product that also helps me and my family stay healthy and purified. Yo-Yo Bitters. For over 2 decades, Yo-Yo Bitters has provided families with the right blend of herbal ingredients that ensures wholesome and toxin-free body system. Yo-Yo Bitters is an all-round family health product that helps your body system cope with the rigors of everyday life. It is not enough to just live. A healthy and active life is something every family should strive for and work towards. Yo-Yo Bitters is that companion that will support you in achieving a healthy and balanced life. Yo-Yo Bitters. Live healthy, feel lively, and stay purified.
The National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria holds its marketing conference on Thursday, 16th June 2022 at 10 a.m. and annual general meeting on Friday, June 17th at 11 a.m. Both events will take place at Ekiti Hotels, Victoria Island, Lagos. Theme of this year's conference is Driving Business Sustainability in the Age of Data and Technology. Signed, Registrar.
Thanks for staying on News Extra. The power sector is one area that is most favored by the Federal Executive Council in terms of express approvals to improve the level of electricity supply. Despite these special considerations, grid collapse and near absence of electricity for hours or days has become a common experience. Joshua Jito in this report find out what has been going on along the power value chain.
common areas in most homes and business outlets in Nigeria as electricity customers wear long faces while their profit literally disappears into generator smoke.
Up to now, we never see light up to this time around.
Lights entirely very difficult to get in this community, so we don't normally get lights most times in the community.
In this our community, we are having serious challenge with electricity.
In spite of the new regime of service-based reflective tariff, power supply across service bands leaves much to be desired.
We are not getting it right. People are only interested in revenue targets and not services. This is at variance with the good intention of Mr. President, and so the President should order immediate review of privatization. That is what we want.
More worrisome is the frequent cases of grid collapse resulting to nationwide power outage. Low power generation and vandalism of power infrastructure are among factors the distribution arm of electricity industry says are responsible for epileptic power supply being experienced in most franchise areas in recent times.
We have struck up a new formula to balance such that as we supply to the areas that yield high revenue, we also supply a fair level out of the little we've got. I keep adding to the areas where we think the revenue may not be so high, but they deserve to have power.
While more investments to ramp up electricity generation and boost supply are ongoing, industry players observe that until challenges of lot rejection and stranded power are addressed, the investment will be a mirage. Sustaining gains in the sector, electricity customers believe should be translated to longer hours of supply in the bulbs. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
As most nations of the world gradually transit to renewable energy, environmental experts are emphasizing the use of wind to increase the country's energy capacity and reduce carbon emission. Charity James on this report x-rays the potential of wind energy in the 21st century as Nigeria marks Wind Day.
Humans have for decades utilized fossil fuel, a form of non-renewable resource, to produce energy, but research shows that this resource is gradually depleting. For this reason, attention is gradually given to renewable energy resources, among which is wind energy. Some Nigerians describe this as a welcome development that must be imbibed with caution.
Wind that's just everywhere, it's natural and it's free from God. I think it should be welcomed by the Nigerian economy, most especially this period of effect of pandemic.
That's a welcome idea.
With much emphasis on climate change as one important aspect of environmental issues due to challenges they pose, environmental experts are emphasizing the use of wind energy as this will help to reduce global warming.
Now that there's energy transition from fossil fuel, emphasis is on green energy. Emphasis is on renewable energy. And wind is critical. Wind is used in turning the turbines. So wind is very, very important as it is one of the sources of renewable energy.
In this situation, experts say wind has become essential resource for production of clean energy. In Uyo, Charity James, NTA News.
The oil and gas industry in Nigeria is transiting and has repositioned for global competitiveness through organizations birthed by the Petroleum Industry Act. They are now drivers that will incisively project and inject the fuel needed for the country's transformation. Lydia Sampson reports.
Since the PIA became a reality, organizations battered under the earth have hit the ground running, fueling and reshaping the oil and gas sector in Nigeria for greater transparency and optimal performance. Experts note that President Muhammadu Buhari's remarkable record in the sector has evidently surpassed previous standards.
Our industry was actually stagnated for a very long time because of the non-passage of the PIB. When we came, we decided to ensure that we passed the PIB. And last year, August, Mr. President was able to sign the PIB into law. So it became the PIA. And of course, the implementation started. The the implementation being to create the institutions that have been enabled by the PIA.
The sector is equipped to deploy clarity in all processes and transactions to mitigate future challenges. Key stakeholders acknowledge that the transformational agencies created by the Petroleum Industry Act will continue to evolve with the implementation of the Act.
So what this will mean to our country is that, first, NNPC will now be more focused, will be clearly commercially focused, but more than anything else, there are many things that NNPC does today that will no longer be necessary and will never be done by this company. For instance, there are things that we do on behalf of states and the federation. Now it has to be on a commercial basis. We will have a service level agreement between us and the federation so that we do everything for the purpose of commercial value while delivering energy security to our country.
However, with supply shocks globally occasioned by geopolitics, key players say Nigeria must continue looking inward and pushing boundaries.
The issue that we have to look inward and see how, because we should not allow the issue of the trend and probably the after effect of the COVID to bring down. We should just move ahead and do what we are supposed to do. Do what we are supposed to do to full implementation of the PIA, irrespective of whatever happens, so that we take the bold move, and the market forces will eventually, settle down, and when the market forces settle down, everything will normalize.
They opine that the clarity provided by the Petroleum Industry Act has continued to make Nigeria the preferred oil and gas hub.
As you know, the PIA is quite transformational. In relation to the products that Nigeria uses, we've tried to maintain sufficiency of stock. PMS with 30 days is the minimum average that we keep. We've always strive to exceed that 30 days.
Ease of investment through the clarity of the PIA has been identified as the global best practice that will help the country make successful partnerships across the oil and gas value chains globally. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
It is common knowledge Benue State prides herself and is also recognized officially as the food basket of the nation to underscore vast arable land, promising yields and sustenance of contribution to the nation's agricultural economy. Now, while this is an undisputable fact, there are other states replicating the success story in areas of comparative advantage. Let's join Abdullah Bruno Kudu to unveil the hidden fertile land of the Kila community in Jigawa State.
For frequent travelers on the old Kano-Maiduguri highway linking northeast and northwest states of Nigeria, the small town of Kila, surrounded by rocks, is an unmissable sight along the road. The town, despite lacking in vibrant activities, stands out for the productive nature of the inhabitants. The land is fertile for the cultivation of cash crops and economic trees, including cassava, date palm, and of course mangoes. In fact, if you recently enjoyed a juicy mango and wondered about where it came from, there is a greater possibility it is from Kila in Jigawa State. Although it is the end of the season, however, the sweetest part of the story is supporting high-income generation and creating economic and trade linkages which participants will continue to explore in time for the common good.
The history of our mango in this Kila, we have since our childhood we inherited abundance of trees here. Therefore, we are thinking that the soil is suitable for mango production in this area. Many trucks, even from Niger, they used to come and collect mango here. We used to send mango to Maiduguri and all other cities in the Federation.
On daily basis, more than 20 bikes are loaded to Niger Republic and other states with mangoes.
Well, the claim of the people of Kila can be attested to by our visit to the mangoes plantations in the town. Behind me here is a stretch of more than 10 kilometers, and what you can see is mangoes trees everywhere, and nobody can see who are the originators or who planted these mangoes. According to them, were planted by their forefathers centuries ago, and they are still reaping from the bounties of these trees.
For the local chief, the proverbial attraction of searching for greener pastures starts and ends in the community, particularly for the youth who believe agriculture is the foundation of their economic development.
Our youth do not go to cities in search of jobs because they have planning to do and are self-reliant.
Just as the people are ever willing to continue to be self-reliant, they have a clear understanding of how agricultural activities can be boosted if the private sector is willing to invest in value chain to reduce wastages and improve economic activities surrounding the sweet and juicy mango business. From Kila in Jigawa State, Abdullahi Garba Bruno Kudu, NTA News.
Thank you, Abdullah, for that information. Nigeria is so blessed, I must say. There is this parlance in Pidgin English which says, better soup na money killer. I don't think I need to explain that, as Nigerian researchers are well aware of it. That is why they are saying for Nigeria to attain self-sufficiency as well as boost her export potential in agriculture, adequate funds must be provided for research. According to them, this will enhance production of varieties of hybrid crops. Agricultural researchers made this known at a forum to boost economic growth and productivity of 5 cash crops at the Cocoa Research Institute in Ibadan. Kayode Oladoshu tells us more.
Cocoa, cashew, coffee, cola, and tea cultivation remain part of the major agricultural practices in different parts of Nigeria. Hence, research on high-yielding genotypes that are well adapted to local growing conditions and give value on investment to farmers and the nation is the way to go. Researchers that have distinguished themselves on various agricultural scientific research converged on Cocoa Research Institute of Nigeria, CRIN, for a review on national economic empowerment through sustainable research and development of cocoa, cashew, coffee, cola, and tea.
There is no research focus. There is no how we can increase food production. There is no how you can make sure that the food we are producing are nutritious. There is no how we can make sure that we have increased yields.
With various propositions, overview of previous research and engagement with farmers on latest varieties, the gathering emphasized the need for farmers to adopt research findings in line with world best practices.
Our present hybrids, within 24 months, we are going to be getting proceed from cocoa.
We have gotten it per ton. Unlike before that, you used to have about 400 kg per hectare, but now it has moved up to 800 kg.
Creating awareness for farmers, setting an agenda for research and development, plus adequate use of data collected by extension workers. Experts at the forum agree is a step in the right direction in adequate productivity and economic growth year in, year out. In Ibadan, Kayode Oladoshu, NTA News.
From Ibadan, let's head to Lagos now, where the largest sugar refinery in sub-Saharan Africa, Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC, has declared 1 naira for every ordinary share of 50 kobo each as dividend to shareholders for the year ended December 31, 2021, totaling cash dividend of 12 billion naira. Chairman Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, while briefing stakeholders on the financial performance of the sugar refinery at its 16th annual general meeting in Lagos, said despite operational challenges, the group posted a turnover of 276 billion naira. Abulade Salami reports.
Since entering the Nigerian market in the year 2000, Dangote Sugar has changed the narrative of sugar business in sub-Saharan Africa. With an installed sugar capacity of 1.44 million metric tons at the same location, the largest sugar refinery company, through a strategic backward integration master plan, is focused on achieving 1.5 million metric tons of refined granulated sugar from locally grown sugarcane sites in Nigeria. Dangote Sugar Refinery during 2001 financial year had a turnover of 276 billion naira, representing 19% increase over 214 billion naira in the comparative year. while profit before tax stood at 34.021 billion naira and profit after tax of 22.052 billion naira in the year under review.
So I think it is an excellent result, and we hope this year will be even better than last year. As we are also doing backward integration and also growing the local domestic production, also demand is increasing. So we have to just keep investing.
Although the year 2021 had its economic challenges caused mostly by the global pandemic, resulting in most companies ending their financial figures in red, Dangote Sugar Refinery in the period expanded and rehabilitated Dangote Sugar Neiman operations.
We are really working very hard in improving our BIP performance, where we invested significant amount in Nasarawa, where the new greenfield project is going on, and also in refinery in Apapa, where we are importing raw sugar and converting into refined sugar. I'm sure our shareholders will be happy going forward.
A company that has sustained its track record in building a sustainable business in the area of socio-economic development, well-being, health, and safety of its numerous customers, says shareholders' interests will always be protected. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
With its sights set on assisting stakeholders in the maritime sector to harness the vast potential of the ocean, the Nigerian Navy says it is forging necessary synergy both on the domestic and international fronts to enhance its hydrographic capabilities. Adeni Chayo completes the report.
The Gulf of Guinea, a vast ocean covering about 2,350,000 kilometers square of water, is one of the playgrounds of the Nigerian Navy. Apart from defending the territorial integrity of the country as the marine component of the armed forces, the Nigerian Navy also watch out for the nation's economic interests by providing needed security cover for international trade to thrive in these waters. The recent exploration of the nation's maritime domain to promote blue economy is another mandate area for the Nigerian Navy. Strings of successes recorded along these key areas is connected to giant strides witnessed in the area of hydrography by the Nigerian Navy. From the acquisition of its second hydrographic survey ship, NNS Lano, which recently carried out its maiden voyage to map Lagos approaches, to homegrown development of nautical charts and maps, the Nigerian Navy is putting itself in a pole position to contribute to the United Nations Ocean Decade, the theme for this year's World Hydrography Day celebration.
The science of hydrography stands out as a major tool to provide policymakers adequate knowledge of the oceans to elicit appropriate governance measures for the conservation and preservation of the biodiversity through sustainable use of the ocean.
The hydrographer of the Nigerian Navy says what is more important as the Navy joins the rest of the world to mark this year's celebration is to further leverage science of hydrography and guide policymakers to put in place structures for proper ocean governance.
On the international scene, arrangement has reached advanced stage for the Nigerian Navy to sign a memorandum of understanding with the Renewable Foundation Deep Secret 2030 project, which seeks to complete the mapping of the world ocean by 2030.
In Lagos, Adeni Chayo, NTA News.
Well, thank you so much, Adeni, for that. Now, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. So sit back for our package on safety precautions you can't afford to ignore when using gas. In the next segment of News Extra, we'll be right back.
Life is a journey, they say, and the best journeys are never traveled alone. Whether it's starting that financial journey and needing stability, or needing the right direction for sound investments, at ARM we are there for you through every phase of your life, even making the transfer of your wealth and assets totally seamless. And when you're ready to explore life after work, ARM doesn't just show you the way, we are right there with you.
Come!
face tomorrow together.
ARM invested in your tomorrow.
Here is a very tough guy who knocks out every opponent, but now he's been knocked down by malaria.
Amatem soft gel.
Amatem soft gel makes treating malaria easy. Amatem soft gel is a game changer.
Amatem soft gel are good to combat malaria for body.
For adults and children, say no to malaria, yes to life.
I have got my car for full body work.
Madam, look, we will shine this car.
Wait. This shop doesn't sound good at all. What are you doing about it?
I don't even want to go to the hospital so that they won't say he has COVID-19.
No, now. Cough is a sign of different infections, including tuberculosis. You would only know which cough it is if you go for testing.
I've been coughing for more than 2 weeks now.
There's no need to fear. I have done this test myself. To know the right treatment for the particular cough you have, you must first get tested.
Oga Chekamo, make you dey sure because
no.
If your cough is more than 2 weeks, it could be tuberculosis. Call the National TB Hotline on 3340 for information on where to get a free test. You can also call the NCDC hotline number on 6232 for information about where to get a free COVID-19 test.
Wake up the champion in your child. Give them energy to go further. Milo Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa helps wake up the champion in your child.
When times are tough, we know that as a mother, one thing you should never compromise on is your family's oral health, because they deserve the best. Oral-B, all-round protection. It's great value. It protects your mouth from harmful bacteria and also protects you against tooth holes and gum problems which can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your family's teeth and gives them all-round protection. So remember, protect their future. Oral-B, the healthiest stronger teeth in just 1 week.
God, everybody knows say I be real person. Even for my acting, na original. As far they see me so, I know they joke with anything where they bring rich flavor, cultural nutrition, and great taste. Like my Checkers custard made 3-in-1, with Totorica, Ganga, and rich custard.
Checkers. Custard be that.
Bedmate Furniture is here to provide you with super cool luxury furniture you love and desire for that amazing look in your home and office. From 16th May to 25th June 2022, Bedmate brings you the biggest sales of luxury furniture at unbelievable low prices as we celebrate you, our darling friend and customer, in the 20th anniversary of giving you love and comfort and furniture you're proud of. The moment your guests and loved ones come through your door with their ears and eyes, visit Bedmate showrooms now to get furniture that brings life to your home and enjoy delightful gifts like cash bags, beds, sofas, dining tables, and plenty others you love to have.
Give yourself a great start from a wholesome breakfast with the cholesterol-free New Mamador Light Fat Spread for bread. New Mamador Spread, deliciously nourishing for a bright start.
Good to have you back. Headline inflation for the month of May 2022 increased by 17.7% year on year, says National Bureau of Statistics, as investors lose 182.36 billion naira in the capital market. And Musa Abubakar is here with details on business news. So he says, over to you.
Thank you, Fatima. Headline inflation for the month of May 2022 increased by 17.71% year-on-year basis, which is 0.22 percentage points slower compared to the rate recorded in May 2021, but higher than 16.82% in April 2022 by 1.78%. Data released this Wednesday by the National Bureau of Statistics show inflation declined year-on-year, but it increased month-on-month. The data attributed the year-on-year decline to less effect of COVID-19 on prices in 2022 compared to 2021. Increases were recorded in all divisions that yielded the headline index, that is, an increase in the prices of bread and cereals, potatoes, yam, other tubers, wine, fish, meat, and oils. On a month-on-month basis, the urban inflation rate rose to 1.81% in May 2022. This is a 0.03% increase compared to April 2022. The rural inflation rate increased year-on-year to 17.21% in May 2022, a 0.15% decline compared to 17.36% recorded in May 2021. And now to energy. Oil prices slip on Wednesday on the back of concerns over fuel demand and global economic growth as the Federal Reserve hiked its benchmark interest rate by 0.75 of a point. Brent crude futures for August declined 1% to $119.98 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude for July fell 1.6% to $117.06 per barrel. The stock market closed on a negative note this Wednesday for the second time this week after having observed the public holiday on Monday. The all-share index dropped to 0.64% at 52,775.4 basis point. 188 million shares valued at 2.363 billion naira were traded in 4,890 deals. Market capitalization fell to 28.45 trillion naira. UBA Guarantee Trust Holding Company and FBN Holding were the most traded stocks in terms of volume and value. Well, that's business news. Fatima, it's now all yours.
Thank you so much. Now, it was all glamour, glitz and fanfare as the trio of Flavor Nabania, Yo Edochie and Fino renewed contract as brand ambassadors with Life Continental Lager Beer. Len Leneke witnessed the event held at the head office of the organization and came back with this report.
As a leading southeastern beer brand that is promoting Igbo high life music, beliefs, tradition and cultural values, Life Continental Lager Beer has also been at the forefront of stimulating the progress of its consumers through numerous grassroots initiatives. The renewal of the contracts with Flavor Nabania, Yo Edochie and Fino underscores the brand's dedication to the Igbo values of entrepreneurial spirit, resourcefulness and communal development.
We extended the contract to our 4 ambassadors because they are great achievers.
Senior Media and Brand Public Relations Manager described the partnership as a rebound of progress that the Igbos have continued to be associated with in their business and industry.
A couple of years ago, we started on this journey of progress with the Life Lager Beer brand because we realized that as a people, what is most important to us is our resourcefulness, our enterprise, and that is what drives us through progress. And we've used these 3 guys who exude and exemplifies what the Life Beer brand is all about.
Life Continental Lager contracts, which spans 2 years, entails featuring in advertisement and marketing campaigns, online assets and special appearances at events. Life Continental Lager Beer is adjudged the fine quality lager beer from the stables of Nigerian Breweries PLC. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
In another story, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is confident that the support of West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS can help push its bid to host World Expo 2030 over the line. The Kingdom's Minister for African Affairs, Abdul Ahmed Aziz Kanten was at the ECOWAS Commission in Abuja to seek support for the bid. Kevin Iwunwahe reports.
Ahmed Abdulaziz Kanten visit to ECOWAS Commission is a continuation of the tour of the continent, having recently concluded a tour of East Africa region. With the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's renewed interest in building robust partnership with African countries, demonstrated with the pledge of $1 billion for the continent's development projects at the Paris conference last year, the Kingdom believes that the next logical step to cement that relationship is for ECOWAS members to key into the proposal for World Expo 2030 to be hosted in Riyadh, which will further create a veritable economic platform for the sub-region in technology, investment and security. For ECOWAS, Saudi Arabia's support for the Joint Security Force for the Sahel region and Gulf of Guinea is a demonstration of sincere commitment to the prosperity of the sub-region.
We did also cover the issue of terrorism, the very strong commitment of Saudi Arabia in making policies to fight terrorism and to support various initiatives, whether it is in the Sahel, whether it is in also another part of the world, that will really fight terrorism and maintain peace and stability. We did also spend some time to explain the importance of having a free, safe Gulf of Aden area. The Red Sea is a very critical part for the transit of many goods in the world and the oil in the world, and in full commitment of Saudi Arabia for the stability and the peace in the Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea area.
Further talks are to continue between Saudi Arabia and all interest groups and blocs across the continent. In Abuja, Kelvin Eronwaye, NTN.
Two deadly gas explosions claiming more than a dozen of lives within a month will naturally invoke questions such as who, when and where next. To avert the imperative of such questions, government and collaborating safety partners in Kano have scaled up preventive measures to forestall the recurrence of the calamity. Elizabeth Yule in Kano reports on the danger and averting measures as the ancient city of Kano lives with the reality of gas explosion.
The thing exploded like a bomb. You see, even though you are in there, you can see the lights following you up. Running, we are running. Myself, I just feel like I'm just born.
Abubakar Aliyu Idris, an eyewitness, narrating how gas cylinder at a liquefied petroleum gas refill shop exploded in Sheikha quarters of Kumboso local government area, Kano. The explosion took the life of 9 children and injured many, including Hussainat Al-Hattu's 3 sons. This is the second gas explosion that rocked the state capital in the space of 1 month. Here is a look at some business premises and LPG vendors and the measures they implore to guard against accidents.
We have people who bring gas for us from the company, and if the cylinder is faulty, they used to tell us to change it.
When we see that it is welded and we see that it has been roasted too much, then we will not put gas. Because by the time we put gas, by the time you want to check the cylinder like this, the gas might be explode and caught fire.
The commander of Federal Fire Service, Kano State Command, Aliyu Abdullahi, spoke on the precautionary measures that can be taken to guard against the occurrence of accidents due to faulty or expired gas cylinders.
A gas cylinder should not exceed the threshold it's supposed to take. A 3 kg should take 3 kg. And also, gas vendors need to put in place preventive measures in case of emergency. Having fire extinguisher is very, very key, more especially CO2 fire extinguisher in kitchen, and then fire blanket.
Kano State Government, in its efforts to address the growing threat of gas explosions, has resolved to enact a law that would curtail the indiscriminate sale of explosive-related items within communities.
The general advice is for people to take extra caution when using gas for cooking, especially when your cylinders are getting old and rusted. This cylinder, for example, had gone through a metal work to ensure it's usable. However, that makes it very dangerous. Whether you're using a new cylinder or an old gas cylinder, one needs to have an extinguisher like this at home to avoid unforeseen circumstances. From Kano, Elizabeth Yela, NTA News.
The Abuja ICT now, the newest entrant into Nigeria's digital space, Starlink, operated by SpaceX, a United States company owned by Elon Musk, promises a high-speed internet access delivered through low Earth orbital satellites with license granted by the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC). Its operational model is said to be aligned with the federal government's efforts at achieving 70% broadband penetration by 2025 as contained in the National Broadband Plan. Chimdima Ndubisi in this report looks at the potential of the communication satellite in the nation's $75 billion communication market.
Almost every human activity and transaction can be carried out either on mobile phones or computers, improving people's standard of living. The link-up components here are data and internet connectivity. Records show that 49% of Nigerians in rural areas where laying of fiber optics for telecom connectivity is unachievable are missing out. Starlink, a portable communication satellite with high speed that is 10 times faster than that of an average cellular speed, as well as low latency, enabling video calls, online gaming, streaming, and other high data rate activities, promises to bridge that connectivity gap. By August this year, Starlink is expected to start enrollment in 5 base stations and is built to achieve 95% broadband penetration by ending of next year.
The only way you can provide broadband to these places usually is through satellite. It's cheaper. And the model came over by Starlink is more of providing broadband to unserved and underserved areas. They are not just like retailers. We will provide services to our mobile network operators and other broadband companies, and companies will provide to us. We ensure that we intervene so that Starlink will provide to them in a very subsidized price, and they can provide to all of us in our subsidized price too.
Emmanuel Okoy, a cybersecurity expert, tells me that these are redefining moments in the nation's telecom industry.
It's what we've been looking out for. There's going to be an upgrade. There's going to be a lot of competition. What we have currently, paying so much in data and not getting the speed, most time breach in regard to the technology, in regard to signal. But we believe with what Elon Musk has and all other countries that have benefited from his technology have not complained. So many worms are running on systems, even including small gadgets and also bigger systems. No one is checkmating. No one is even aware that he has been hacked or not. But with this technology, cybersecurity experts will be able to deploy their solutions.
It can sync with the 5G that have been introduced. We also have fiber optics in place. So this satellite can sync with it because you can't receive the signal directly. It doesn't have any barrier. For example, election time, you see the phone network, it's on rural areas and all that. So it's a welcome development. It's going to improve digital economy.
That's not all. Deployment of Starlink internet service in agriculture will help farmers access weather and commodity pricing using their smartphones. Likewise, in education and health, remote learning and telemedicine can be achieved seamlessly in rural areas. ICT professionals also believe that Nigeria stands to benefit from Starlink's $30 billion global investment portfolio, as its presence in 32 countries is viewed as profitable. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
So far, so good. When News Extra returns from this next break we are about to take, we shall bring you the new strategy that is geared at attracting investments to the nation's numerous airports. Join us again.
strength I need every time that I look into your eyes. I know they worry, because I know that you do have my pride. No matter what I do, you love me unconditionally. So you love me every day, no matter what day I show you. You show me love. You show me, you show me, you show me. No matter what day I show you. You show me love. You show me, you show me, you show me. No matter what I show you, you show me love.
Say you dey find ogbonge entertainment? No look far o. Na Go TV dey. Enjoy better film, correct season film sef boku plus telenovelas from all over the world, football, educational and fun channels for your children. Naija shows them like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? No darling at all o. Go carry your Go TV decoder, Go Tenor plus 1 month Max subscription for just 6,900 naira. Beware stories live. Go TV, love it.
Since 1971, Nigeria's foremost human capital development institution, the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, has been at the forefront of equipping Nigerians with skills for national growth. Today's ITF has repositioned and refocused its programs, forging new partnerships locally and internationally to effectively deliver on its mandate. With 37 area offices and 5 industrial skills training centers across the country, ITF is pushing to reduce unemployment by providing relevant technical and vocational skills for employability and entrepreneurship in diverse trades and crafts. Whether you're a public or private organization seeking to improve the skills of your personnel or an individual looking to acquire skills that will increase your chances of employment or even to help start your own business, today's ITF has a program for you. Speak to us today. Contact our area offices nationwide or visit our website www.itf.gov.ng. ITF, developing the nation's human resource.
With humble acceptance of God's will and thanks for a life well spent, we announce the glorious exit of our mother, grandmother, great-grandmother and sister, Assistant Pastor Elizabeth Olufunke Adetun Ayodeji. She was aged 86. Burial arrangement. Service of songs at RCCG Agape Parish, Iyano Church, Wakajaye Road, Ibadan on Thursday, 16th June 2022 at 5 p.m. Funeral service on Friday, 17th June 2022 at 10 a.m. at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Breakthrough Cathedral, Oyo Province 6 Headquarters, All Motors Way, off Old Ife Road, Ibadan. Interment follows immediately. An entertainment of guests takes place at Watershed Celebration Center, Old Ife Road, near Loyola College, Ibadan. May a gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. Announcer Omodara Eson, Deputy Director Information, Federal Ministry of Information for the family.
Welcome back. Nigeria's potential and capacity in the global air transport industry, grossly underutilized, is set for a boost as the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria (FAN) is repositioning the industry for efficient and profitable ventures. The new strategy is for stakeholders to consider investments at various airports across the country. Aviation correspondent Emmanuel Ayemi reports.
Currently, Nigeria is said to have the largest fleet of aircraft within the West African sub-region. A report by Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria stated that as at 2021, the country lost $2.5 billion, about 1.25 trillion naira, in maintenance, repairs and overhaul services to neighboring countries. The investment, which would have created more employment opportunities, revenue generation and training of technical personnel for maintenance of aircraft in Nigeria.
We want to assure you that aviation sector is a place where you can put your money and will not lose.
The theme of the conference, Advancing the Frontiers of Possibilities for Safe, Secure and Profitable Air Transportation by FAN, is to encourage industrial players to invest in the sector.
Our potential and capacity in the global air transport industry is grossly underutilized. If we are desirous of attaining the status of a major player in the global aviation sphere, this is the time to reposition and move the industry forward.
The conference is also to proffer solutions to major aviation challenges. Emmanuel Ayemihu, NTA News.
Domestication of the health insurance scheme in states as directed, while the federal government has started yielding positive results in Benue, as beneficiaries testify that the policy has helped them immensely in meeting their health needs at minimal cost. Sandra Dowese Akeme, who visited the primary health care centers in Makudi to assess the level of patronage of the scheme, reports that more than 40,000 residents and still counting have so far benefited from the scheme.
In line with the National Health Insurance Act 2014, the Benue State Government in 2018 keyed into the program, establishing the Benue State Health Insurance Agency, saddled with the mandate of overseeing policies and programs of the health insurance scheme. The agency has continued to evolve measures targeted at attaining universal health coverage for all residents of the state, with more than 40,000 beneficiaries already accessing healthcare services under the scheme. Since then, the scheme has expanded its scope of operation to accommodate enrollees from the organized private sector employees, students of tertiary institutions, self-employed persons, retired civil servants and the vulnerable groups, such as the physically challenged, the aged, pregnant women and widows, as well as foreigners residents in the state.
If we are not well, we'll come here, they will give us drugs free. We didn't pay anything for the drugs.
Each core member has their own NHIS code to apply for it and go to wherever hospital they choose.
So far, we have 153 as of those people that they captured.
Aside the 276 primary health care facilities accredited in each of the council wards in the state, the agency has been organizing capacity building for staff on health financing.
Some of them are in groups, some are individuals, but it's not easy to determine their income. So we have developed a program for them. And in terms of the premium, it's a flat rate contribution. Program community rating, so their premium community rating, and that is 15,000 a year per person.
This health coverage is achievable with sustained determination and policy direction of the Benue State Health Scheme being implemented for all residents of the state. In Makudi, Sandra Dowese Akeme, NTA News.
Next update is next with Kenaima Abdiki.
36 cyclists made up of 20 males and 16 females have made the final cut for close camping in Abuja ahead of the 2022 Africa Track Championships scheduled for July 14 to 17 at the velodrome of Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. The 3-week close camping starts from June 26 to July 17, with the officials fine-tuning grey areas to ensure podium finishes for Team Nigeria.
Before the commencement of the competition, we reduce it to 30 that will represent Nigeria. So now we identify 8 senior women, 8 junior women, 10 junior men, 10 men elites.
All is now set for what would be a championship of stars in Nigeria, as top athletes are set to storm Benin City, Edo State, to jostle for qualification to represent Nigeria at the World Athletics Championships and the Commonwealth Games. The trials are slated for June 21 to 23 at the Samuel Omomudia Stadium.
Some of them will qualify in the youths, the under 20, which is junior, and then the senior.
The World Athletics Championships will take place in Eugene, Oregon, United States of America, July 15 to 24, while the Commonwealth Games will hold July 28 to August 8 in Birmingham, United Kingdom. Meanwhile, FIFA President Gianni Infantino has congratulated all the 32 nations on their qualification for the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. The 32-strong field was finalized on Tuesday, with Costa Rica defeating New Zealand 1-0 at the Al Rayyan Stadium, while Australia outlasted defeated Peru 6-5 in a penalty shootout victory at the same venue. The FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 kicks off November 21 with 4 matches, including Senegal versus the Netherlands in the opener, England versus Iran, hosts Qatar versus Ecuador, and USA versus Wales. The 64th and final match will be played at Lusail Stadium December 18. That's Sports Update. I am Kenan Ima Abodike, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has sent a high-powered delegation to condole the family of his domestic aide, Imam Suleiman Atiku, who passed on after a brief illness at his residence in Kaduna. Suleiman Atiku reports that the Controller General, Nigeria Customs Service, Hamid Ali, led the federal government delegation on the condolence visit.
Late Suleiman Atiku has been a long-standing friend and imam leading 5 daily prayers in the residence of President Muhammadu Buhari in Kaduna. President Buhari received the news of the death of this Islamic cleric with shock, describing him as an astute Islamic scholar who imparted knowledge to his students. Presidential delegation in Kaduna to condole the family on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari include Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, Ramadamin Daura, and District Head of Damalku, Musa Haru, among others. Presenting condolence message to the family of the deceased on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari, the leader of the delegation said President and his immediate family are praying for the repose of the soul of late Imam Suleiman.
And of course extend his own appreciation for what Allah has done to him and his family. And we as Muslims join him in praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the repose of the soul of Malam. May Allah grant him Al-Jannah Firdausi.
Families of the deceased thanked the president for the condolence. Imam Suleiman Atiku died at the age of 72 and left behind 13 children and 2 wives. He has since been buried in Kaduna according to Islamic rites. Suleiman Gachkun, NTA News.
Meanwhile, NTA management has paid condolence visits to the family of Ibrahim Damisa, a former executive director training with the NTA who lost his wife recently. The management team was led by the acting Director General of NTA, Abdulhamid Dembos.
Here comes the arrival of the NTA management staff, but the atmosphere met was gloomy. Family and friends seated with the bereaved to mourn his late wife, Hajia Mariam Damisa. Indeed, a great loss for Ibrahim Damisa, as his companion of about 40 years is gone, but his pain is felt even among the NTA family.
Well, we have done the prayers. We pray that God to grant her eternal peace, and may her gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Thank you.
Mariam is a very, very big loss. A wonderful individual, a pious woman, a very, very kind-hearted person. Whenever you come near her, you like her because of what she is.
We thank God for her life, for what she has left behind, for love, for care, and for being a keeper of home, and of course an inculcator of the true values of our religion.
Prayers offered for the repose of the soul of the deceased. Mariam Damisa left behind her husband and 5 children. Abdul Malik Hassan, NTA News.
Broadcast of a fundraising dinner in support of the construction of 200-bed capacity Naval Officer Wives Association Women and Children Green Smart Hospital Abuja comes up immediately after News Extra, and all stations are to remain on the network service. And with that, we conclude News Extra for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I am Fatima Wabuba. Enjoy the rest of your night.
was with us, and she performed the function of laying the foundation stone. We have eminent, distinguished, invited personalities from the maritime industry, finance, banking, petroleum. Our friends, corporate friends from all around the world are flown in here today to be with us. Any moment from now, we will begin to recognize eminent, distinguished, invited guests here with us. And we want to say, peradventure we did not recognize you, we will get back to you. And we do not in any way want to offend, and as much as possible, we will be recognizing them. You want to talk about Chike and Omar Omila coming out?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is not just of the fundraising only. There will be quality entertainment in the building. Two of Nigeria's finest R&B stars will be here. One male, one female. I'm talking about Chike and Omawumi herself. They'll be gracing the stage. Before we proceed, I think it's very important that we jam our hands together for NOAA as an organization, because what they have set out to do is a landmark achievement in the making. Let's jam our hands properly for them for this wonderful initiative.
It's indeed a very laudable thing that the Naval Officers Association has been doing. They've had many interventions through health outreaches, medical rhapsodies, their clean water initiative, palliatives to the poor and the needy. You can rest assured that when there is a challenge and it's contemporary, the Naval Officers Association, under the able leadership of the National President Ajanana Aisha Gambo, they will be there and they will be making their interventions. We want to pray for indulgence. Your phones, we know, please, you can put in silence as much as possible. Of course, should you have the need for anything, we have ushers lining all the halls. They are wearing very lovely dresses. We're having their usher tags around their necks, and they've been around to direct you as would be.
Absolutely. Also, we will do everything to speed it up so your dinner doesn't come too late. When that time comes, we will let us know how to go. I believe it's buffet style. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, allow us to quickly do some recognitions. Like he said, we will be doing this intermittently as the evening rolls by. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to recognize the presence of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Leo Irabo, who is ably represented here by the RA MB Nageno. I hope I got that right. Yes. Rear Admiral MB Nageno. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you for joining us.
So when we're behind the stage, one thing Bobby had asked me was, if he doesn't get these pronunciations well, there will be no problem. I told him there is no problem. So Rear Admiral MB Nageno, sir, we know he called you RA, but we know by no means are you RA. We know you are Rear Admiral, and of course, that was a offensive.
I correct before the
too sharp.
What does RA mean again, apart from Rear Admiral? Okay. Let's stick with the real one. Rear Admiral, sir, nice to have you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have present here the Chief of Army Staff. He's ably represented. I'm talking about Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, represented by Major General MT Durojaye. Round of applause for MT Durojaye. Sean, sir. All right.
And it is my singular honor and privilege to recognize most respectfully there are several acronyms I could call the husband to the host, but permit me to keep it simple to say Vice Admiral Awatuberg on board, the Chief of the Naval Staff. We're indeed delighted to have you in the midst. Please a round of applause for the Chief of the Naval Staff. Also with us is, anytime we call, the Air Force, always giving us cover from above. Anytime we call the Air Force, they always answer. And it was not surprising when the Chief of Air Staff, one of the earliest of our very distinguished invited guests that made their way into the hall, very humble, sitting down, shaking friends, smiling all through it, and it gives me great pleasure, sir, to most respectfully recognize your presence here today, Air Marshal I.O. Amal, the Chief of Air Staff.
Who's the person you just introduced?
The Chief of Air Staff.
Chief of, nice to have you here, sir. Thank you very much. All right, from one set of powerful people to another set of very powerful people. Ladies and gentlemen, when she came in, she made a very grand entry. You can feel her presence, her gait. I'm talking of the president of DEPOA. Please, let's put our hands together for Barrister Mrs. Vicky Anwuli Irabo. Thank you for joining us, ma'am. We also have here present, ladies and gentlemen, and I want this one to be loud because she's not just our chief host. She's not just our chief host, but she's also, I believe, the person who paid me to be here and in whom my balance dwells. Please, let's put our hands together for the national president of the Naval Officers' Wives Association, Hajia Nana Aisha Gambo. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, madam, for having me. So like we said, ladies and gentlemen, there will be more introductions as the evening rolls by. Please feel free, relax, anything you want. Feel free to call any of the ushers. If you can't reach them, call me. However, please, today we want us to reach deep into our pockets. Anything that concerns women and children in our society, we can never really give more than enough. It is something that is encouraged. I mean, they could have done other initiatives, but for a green smart hospital that we cater to, especially sicknesses that are gender-based, that affect our mothers, affect our daughters, affect our sisters, and of course affect children in general. It is very key that society joins hands together to make sure. So like I said, nothing you give will be too small or too much. So please, because God loves a cheerful giver. All right.
Thank you very much. Permit me to recognize presence in the midst of the president of the Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association, Ajay Salamatu Yaya. You're welcome, ma'am. Permit me to also recognize presence in the midst of the national president of the Nigerian Air Force Officers' Wives Association, Mrs. Cambridge. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you for joining us, ma'am. All right. Also joining us here, ladies and gentlemen, is the Secretary of Economic Planning, Revenue Generation, and Public-Private Partnership. Please, a round of applause for Honorable Lukman Agbula Dabiri. He's representing, I believe, the Minister of the FCT. Honorable Lukman Agbula Dabiri, please. A round of applause for him. Thank you.
Permit me to also recognize the person in the midst of the House Committee Chairman on the Nigerian Navy, Honorable Yusuf Gapti. You're welcome, sir.
Yusuf, thank you for joining us. Okay.
With that, we will come back to some of the
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we also have a representative for one of our chief launchers here today, Haji Abu. Okay, let me not mix this up. Ladies and gentlemen, representing the BUA International BUA Group here today, BUA International Limited. A round of applause for the Director of Government Relations, Dr. Aliu Idi Hong. A round of applause, please. Thank you very much, sir.
very senior, distinguished, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to recognize the representative of Zenith Bank PLC, Mr. Louis Odom. It's a pleasure to have you here. I think I saw, please a round of applause for him. Please. It's good to clap. Thank you very much. I also saw Mr. Greg Obefu somewhere, I'm not sure. But you're here, sir. It's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you very much, sir. We can't miss you with your lovely nice beard, sir. Welcome, sir. While we are waiting the arrival of special guest of honor for today's event, permit me to hand you over to the best band in the whole of Sub-Saharan Africa. I know the Chief of Army Staff is here. I know the Chief of Air Staff is also here. But the best band in the whole of Africa is a Nigerian Navy band, and they are here. Please make sure that when the Air Force and the Army are doing events, they call the Nigerian Navy band. Take us away. Thank you very much.
Fundraising dinner in support of a 200-bed capacity women and children hospital, courtesy the Naval Officers' Wives Association, or NOAA for short. Recall the foundation laying ceremony took place on Monday, 14 June 2022, and the occasion was graced by the First Lady's representative. She was represented by Mrs. Dolapo or Shimbajo. And this fundraising dinner is aimed at, of course, raising funds to commence the construction of the modern facility.
Steady on the front, I've been making move, cause I wanna satisfy ya. Cause you my medicine, you're a musician. You my, I don't wanna lose you. I don't wanna lose you. I go there by your side. I don't wanna lose you. See, girl, we will never go wrong. We don't go use somebody blow. No go you do test one. I don't mean I don't go do it. You know what you want. Nobody else can take your turn. Whenever need me, call my phone. Girl, I'll be your superman. Be my queen and the big noise. It's a love song, gotta be noise. You be my shoes, gotta be no juice. Baby, loving you is a must. Yeah. What I've done, gotta have no more. Come on, this stand, gotta really move. Steady on the grind, I've been making move. Cause I wanna satisfy ya. Cause you my medicine, girl, you so. Cause you my medicine, oh. When you wake up for money, I don't wanna lose you. Cause you my medicine, girl. You my remedy, oh. When you wake up for money, I don't wanna lose you. I go there by your side. I don't wanna lose you. Girl, you will never go wrong. We don't go use somebody pro. Don't go you do test one. But I mean I don't go do it. You know what you want with most. Nobody else can take care of you. When I find it, me call my phone. Girl, probably your superman. Be my queen, I don't need no. It's a love song, I don't need no. Be my sugar, I don't need no. Baby, love you is a must. What I'm done, girl, I have no clue. Come on, this dance, girl, I'm feeling. Steady on the ground, I've been making. What I want to satisfy is you my medicine. You my remedy. I don't wanna lose ya. When you wake up for money, I don't wanna lose ya. I go there by your side. Come on now. You my medicine, girl. You my remedy, oh. When you wake up from money, I don't wanna lose. Come on, go there by your side. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out. Person with no person, you know that keep person. If you want no person, you don't go first person. I know the season, you won't give me medicine. I come on you want to spend my money. Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me to relax. Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me to enjoy myself. Allow me, I see when I see I keep passing. If you want more persons, you know the first person.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The representative of the Chief of Defense Staff, service chiefs here present, very senior, eminent, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my singular honor and privilege to announce the arrival of the special guest of honor for today's event, Her Excellency, the First Lady and wife to the President Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Buhari, ably represented by the former President of the Nigerian Army Officers Association, Mrs. Adiza Dambaso. You're welcome, ma'am. May we rise for the national anthem. I'll sing them. I'll sing them. You're welcome, ma'am.
Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. Before we proceed, allow me to quickly recognize the presence of one of the executive directors of one of the most reputable banks in Africa, Zenith Bank. That is a round of applause for Omar Shoaib Ahmed. Thank you for joining us, sir. All right, we're going to swing into action and start. We've started formally, but there's a safety brief that will have to be read to the House. Please welcome on stage Mr. Paul Ocholi. Mr. Paul Ocholi of Sheraton for the safety brief. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Ocholi. I welcome you to Sheraton Abuja. Please permit me to take a moment of your time to discuss with you the hotel protocol on safety. Today is not our fire evacuation drill, and we are not anticipating any fire emergency. However, in an event of fire that necessitates evacuation, it is very important that you take note of the following procedures. In an event of evacuation, a continuous alarm will sound that will signal evacuation. You must leave immediately in a calm and orderly manner through the various emergency exits, which are clearly marked. In this hall, we have a total number of 9 emergency exits. 6 are located on my right hand side, and 6 to my right hand side, and 3 to my left. They all lead to our various assembly points that are strategically located within the hotel. Our officers will be around to direct you accordingly. The restrooms, male and female, are located at the pre-function area. As you exit the hall to your left, the banquet office is located on your left area, on your left hand side at the pre-function area as you exit the hall. Please do not hesitate to contact our staff if you need any further assistance. We understand that it is a high-profile security gathering. However, for those that are not security inclined, we kindly advise you to take personal responsibility of your belongings, such as phones and other gadgets. On behalf of the hotel, I wish you a successful gathering. Thank you.
Please, let's clap for Mr. Paul. I know there's a part of this safety drill I would never really be able to wrap my head around. When he says that in case of a fire, an alarm, that we should move out in orderly fashion. So we'll go see fire here. We'll go say, wow, fire, please, line up. We will never see fire anyway.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay,
right.
In addition to the safety brief, we have made arrangements for a mini clinic immediately outside the hall, and we have 2 ambulances stationed outside in the case of a medical emergency. If there's any need for any medical emergency, please be rest assured that we have you covered. It is fitting at this point to most respectfully and humbly recognize the representative of the Honorable Minister of Defense, the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Ibrahim Abaka Kana, member of the National Institute. You're welcome, sir. Permit me to also recognize the niece of Mrs. Victoria Egbase, also an MNI, Director of Planning Research and Statistics, representing Chairman, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. You're welcome, ma'am.
Oh yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, first thing on the item that will basically channel us towards our goal for today, we have a mini documentary that will come up on the screen. It's pretty much 5 minutes. Like we said earlier, this is one course that you can never really give too much to, because it will affect even generations unborn.
Thank you.
Which is the Green Smart Hospital.
Okay, the documentary, like my very good friend has said, is it cannot do justice to what the Naval Officers' Wives Association under the able leadership of the National President Ajahn and Aisha Dambo is doing, but we feel that this will just is a small fitting tribute to a wonderful organization that's willing to break frontiers for good. With that said, can we have on screen the Naval Officers' Wives documentary?
The Nigerian Navy is saddled with the responsibility of protecting the territorial integrity of this nation and has been quite active in its role. the sailors are away for their tour of duty. Your wives are left behind to secure the home front and bond with each other to provide comfort in the absence of their husbands. These women, under the leadership and guidance of the wife of the first indigenous chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Joseph Edith Akinwale Ray. Mrs. Anne Ray founded a group known as the Naval Officers' Wives Association on the 30th November 1965. Naval Officers' Wives Association, which started as a group of wives of naval officers, are dedicated to providing support to each other in promoting love and harmony. This non-governmental organization has grown into an international non-profit making philanthropic collaborations with over 2,000 NOAA and Marawa members. The purpose and capacity of the association has grown exponentially over time, from being a small T group into an association saddled with empowering not only the wives of naval officers and naval ratings, but that as well as women in and out of the barracks. As a refuge for the wives of the naval officers, NOAA understands the dangers that the men of the Nigerian Navy face in the line of their duties. Some of these men pay the ultimate price in order to keep Nigeria safe. Hence, NOAA understands this reality, which informs the need to provide welfare support and relief materials to orphanage homes and widows. Additionally, NOAA has conducted numerous medical outreach to different communities in Nigeria. In line with the association's support role to the Nigerian Navy and the government in the educational sector, NOAA currently has 12 schools comprising of 4 secondary schools, with 3 of them offering boarding facilities and 8 daycare, nursery and primary schools across Nigeria. These schools ensure that excellent standards of education is readily available to the society at an affordable cost. NOAA Skills Acquisition Center has been saddled with the sole responsibility of capacity building and empowering women with the basic and professional skills required in the society. Over 2,000 NOAA and Marawa members have access to this service. In addition, seminars and workshops are held regularly to arm women with the knowledge and technical know-how to make themselves relevant and independent. NOAA, under the leadership of the 21st National President, Hajia Nana Aisha Gambo, who took over the mantle of leadership on the 27th February 2021, has seen the re-emergence of NOAA and its philanthropic roots by initiating a pet project of her own known as Clean Water. This initiative was conceived by the realization that so many rural communities in Nigeria still struggle for access to clean water for their consumption. Hajia Nana Aisha Gambo took it upon herself to support government efforts by initiating this project, which is to create boreholes in the 36 states across Nigeria, including the FCT. The NOAA National Secretariat was commissioned in 2006 under the guidance of the NOAA National President. The first renovations were carried out and the state-of-the-art facilities were installed to modernize the headquarters of the association. The NOAA Guest House, which is located in Abuja, is a revenue-generating asset which contributes a tremendous quota to the activities of the association. The renovation and expansion of the guest house will increase its capacity as well as the association's revenue. This will inadvertently improve the association's magnitude to carry out more philanthropic ventures. Hajianana Aisha Gambo, a shrewd businesswoman and a philanthropist by nature, intends to take NOAA to greater heights. Thank you for listening. NOAA, sail in unison.
Whatever it is you people shouted, please do it again. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's put our hands together for NOAA as an organization. I mean, since 1965, it has existed and they have grown from strength to strength. When you see how far this organization has come, you will have an idea of how far they will go. Well, if you walked in halfway and were seeing the achievements, you would think they were talking about probably a country and what they were doing. Indeed, NOAA has done very well, and today we will take that giant leap forward. All right. I have been mandated to recognize one of my favorite female politicians, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Minister for Women Affairs and former Deputy Governor of Plateau State. Please a round of applause for Dame Pauline Talem. All right, thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what you saw was on video. What you're about to see is live on stage. Allow me, it gives me great pleasure to bring up here for her welcome address, ladies and gentlemen, the National President of the Naval Officers' Wives Association. Please, let's jam our hands together. Let's keep it jamming until she gets here as we make welcome Hajia Nana Aisha Gambo for her welcome address. Don't let the applause stop. Let it roll. All right.
Our special guest of honor, Her Excellency, the First Lady and wife to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Buhari, ably represented by Her Excellency, Mrs. Adiza Dambazo, former Naroa President. National Security Advisor, ably represented by Commodore Mustafa, Honorable Minister of Defense, ably represented by Ibrahim Abubakar Khan, Honorable Minister of FCT, ably represented by Mr. Agbola Dabiri, Heads of Government Agencies and Parastatals, the Chief of Defense Staff, ably represented by Rear Admiral MB Negenu, the Chief of Army Staff, ably represented by Major General Duro Oye, the Chief of the Naval Staff, an officer and a gentleman, a very special gentleman, my husband and my best friend, my greatest pillar, support and motivator, the best man that Almighty Allah carefully chose to crown my head. For whom, if not for God and him, I would be on this stage to drive this global initiative. Alpha Kuguni, that I prefer to call AZ for short, Vice Admiral Awa Suberu Gambo, Admiral. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal I.O. Amao, the Diplomat President, Barrister Mrs. Vicky Aoni Irabo, National President of NAOA, Aboya present, Principal Staff Officers from Defense and Service Headquarters here present, Commanders and Commandants of military institutions and establishments, members of Diplomatic Corps, International Organization and Corporation, senior military officers both serving and retired, members of National Naval Officers Wealth Association, my dear sister, Ajia Nana Aisha Bello, and Ajia Aisha Bello. My lovely children, Rukaya, Maria, and Omar Farouk. My dear friend, Lady Imelda. Head of paramilitary and security service agencies here present, captains of industries and corporate bodies, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I say good evening to everyone. On behalf of members of Naval Officers Wealth Association, I consider it a great privilege and honor to welcome the special guest of honor, our mother, the First Lady and wife of the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Buhari, ably represented by Ajia Ajiza Damwazo, and other distinguished guests to this fundraising dinner in support of the construction of a 200-bed capacity lower women and children brain smart hospital project here in Abuja. We are particularly delighted to have our special guest of honor, ably represented in our midst, despite our busy schedule. With humility and great respect, we say thank you. Your presence here clearly demonstrates your unending love and care for women and children in general. Permit me to also use this opportunity to appreciate our special guest here present. Thank you all for honoring our invitation. I'm equally glad to say that today's event marks an important milestone in the life of Noah family and by extension to define medical care positively in the armed forces, the federal capital, and Nigeria. May I crave your indulgence to shed some light on this all-embracing and multi-purpose organization named NOAA. The Naval Officers Wealth Association is a non-governmental organization established about 27 years ago on the 30th of November 1965. To promote love and harmony among wives of naval officers and their families. The organization has metamorphosed over the years from a small people to an internationally recognized humanitarian organization. Presently, the Naval Officers Wealth Association contributes to socio-economic life and well-being of Nigerians by providing quality education, vocational training, charitable activities, and economic empowerment programs for women, orphans, and youths, amongst others. In addition to these charitable activities, NOAA has been supporting women and children via sponsorship for medical treatment, settling medical bills of women and children. Regrettably, these efforts are a drop in the ocean when compared with recent United Nations Children's Fund statistics on global women and children's mortality rate. Summarily, the recent report by the United Nations Children's Fund paints a grim picture of women and children's health care around the world, Nigeria inclusive. The report revealed that approximately 40 million Nigerian women of childbearing age suffer a high level of health issues during childbirth. Although Nigeria represents 2.4% of world population and it contributes 10% to global deaths for pregnant mothers, representing a maternal mortality rate of 576 deaths per 100,000 live deaths, which is the fourth highest rate in the world. The report equally reveals that about 262,000 babies die at birth in Nigeria annually. This is the second highest figure in the world. Currently, infant mortality stands at 69 deaths per 1,000 live births and rises to 128 deaths per 1,000 live births for children under the age of 50. These statistics illustrate health conditions among women and children in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, beginning from the UNICEF statistics enumerated, it becomes clear that medical requirements of women and children are inadequate. This is not far-fetched, considering that medical institutions and facilities are inadequate to address medical challenges of over 200 million Nigerians. As of today, it is estimated that Nigeria has about 33,000 general hospitals, 59 teaching hospitals and federal medical centers, as well as about 20,200 primary health centers, while mother and child hospitals are less than 10. This is insufficient when compared to millions of women and children who desire quality medical attention to address various health challenges. It is obvious that the government is making efforts which are appreciated. However, this effort requires additional collaboration and partnership to meet the expected threshold. According to our special guest of honor, in one of the process of partnership in delivering healthcare for Lagosians with help government in most regions, with the influence of those states being on the increase daily on quality. This partnership in delivering healthcare has become necessary because the Federal Capital Territory is equally facing huge influx of people on a daily basis, and without doubt, its limited medical facilities have already been overstretched. Accordingly, today, NOAA is complying with the vision of our special guest of honor towards supporting the government to provide adequate medical care for women and children of our dear nation. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this project, I say, is timely and indeed an intervention to enhance maternal and child health in our society in fulfillment of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 3. The proposed smart hospital will leverage vital telehealth options between patients and healthcare practitioners. It will also provide opportunities to engage local and international healthcare practitioners remotely, as well as cater for long-distance individuals and their families. The project is estimated to cost 15 billion naira. I'll take that again. The project is estimated to cost 15 billion naira, and it is projected to be commissioned into use by the second quarter of 2023. I'm sorry, I said 15 billion and nobody even raised an eyebrow. I expect some people to just say, we are good to go. Thank you. At this juncture, may I salute our Honorable Minister of FCT, His Excellency Madam Bello, for allocating a suitable land measuring 5.2 acres at Galadima district here in Abuja and facilitating associated documents. Sir, we could not have achieved this milestone without your kind support. Thank you. To our distinguished invited guests, special guest, we are aware of the sacrifices you have made to grace this occasion. We do not take it for granted. Your presence has not only added glamour to this event, it has also revealed your commitment and and support for welfare of women and children of our dear nation. I'm indeed very grateful. I will not forget to also appreciate our friends, sponsors, and well-wishers that have come prepared to support us on this laudable project. You are all highly appreciated. Your Excellencies, service chiefs, captains of industries, ladies and gentlemen, this is the crucial moment to show your love for mothers, would-be mothers, and children healthcare. Nigeria is bleeding, and many citizens are dying in situations that can be avoided. This hospital project presents us with an opportunity to do the best we can for our nation. This very nation that we all know, and its citizens, that we care for deep down in our hearts. While our individual efforts may not have moved mountains, our collective strength with all, if work together, will make a great change. Let me assure us that no gift is too small, as we need all the support we can get.